Hello and welcome to episode 461 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now today's episode is pretty huge. I'm joined by Joey Santiago from the Pixies. And if anyone's ever met me, you'll know the Pixies are one of the most influential bands for me personally, but not just me. Anyone in the world that's ever picked up a guitar would have played to probably one of Joey's songs, because the Pixies are that band. They're the band that kind of were around for me when I got into Nirvana. They changed music for me. They showed me you can do anything and think outside the box. And they've been a huge influence on me. So to be able to sit down and talk with them today is a dream come true. And that interview will be coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. But on every episode of Mark and Me, I will always do this. I always like to quickly touch base and talk about my last episode. It was with Matt from 3 Days Grace. It came out last Friday. The response was huge. So a massive thanks to everyone that tuned in. It really was huge numbers. So many people were sharing it. And it really makes a huge difference when I see loads of new listeners jumping on board and let me know how much they enjoyed Mark and Me and have now subscribed. So thank you so much, everyone. It really was a great episode. But let's now talk about today. Like I said, I'm joined by the Pixies. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's happened, it's recorded, so let's get to it. Here is me and Joey Santiago. So Joey, thanks for joining me today on the Mark and Me podcast.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, I listened to a few of your episodes. Well, one. I just lied there. My first lie.
Already? We're not even 30 seconds in. I've got a lie detector beeping at me.
No, you're going to get 30, at least 40.
What one did you listen to?
Cottrell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That one blew up because loads of magazines were reporting him. I think he said something about Alice in Chains, and everyone just started taking clips from it. So I woke up one day and there was like 4,000 notifications, and I was like, "What's gone on here?" But it's because Blabbermouth and everyone had published certain bits of it, which was great for numbers.
Yeah, certainly is. Yeah.
What I do, and you may have heard this if you listened, is I like with every guest that comes on is to take it right back to the very beginning. I'm really intrigued about your childhood and when you were growing up, that first album that maybe you were given, or maybe you were saving up your pocket money and you went out and bought it yourself, but that first album that you were remember getting and changed your life.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember a few albums I bought on my paper routes.
Yep.
Yeah. So the first album?
Should we go for it? Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. So the first album that I bought was shoot. You know what? It was probably the greatest hits of the Blue record.
Oh, nice.
The Beatles. Because I had gotten the red one for Christmas. And that was fine and dandy. And then the blue one I was going to say blew my mind. I'm not going to say that because it's stupid. it was just better and for me it just showed the progress of a band for me. That was the first time I really saw what was happening and how bands were how this particular band grew up with the times.
What huge foundations they are, Joey. Like the Beatles, I mean, to start with that, everything after that just must feel like it's going downhill. What a huge statement to make on you at that age with your pocket money to have those albums.
When people say that's a hard question. What's your favorite band? It's not. It's the Beatles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Beatles.
They changed the world, and every podcast somehow gets a mention for the Beatles, but rightly so.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I mean, with live music, everything changed for me. I'm 43. I'm at that age now. I have to stop and before I announce my age, remember how old I am, but I'm 43. And my first gig was in Wolverhampton. My parents dropped me off and I got to see Green Day on their Dookie tour, and it blew my mind. At that age, You know, I'd only been playing football in the playground at school. I didn't know what music was about, but the moment I saw it live, it was like that moment that I thought, that's what I want to do forever. Like, that's all I want to do. And I wondered, did you have a great first gig? Surely it wasn't the Beatles. What was your first gig that, you know, you remember going to?
I had a great my first concert was AC/DC.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Yeah, the Back in Black.
Jesus.
Angus Young had just died. They made that album, and they went to the Springfield, Massachusetts, a hockey rink. I forgot what the hockey rink was called at the time. Oh man. Anyway, it was there.
That's huge. Like,
huge.
you haven't done things by small measures on this podcast already, have we? A couple of minutes in, and you're like, Beatles, AC/DC, like.
Dude, I rode my bike early down there, you know, and I lived in the suburbs of Springfield, so I've yet to measure how many miles I rode there, but went there early in the afternoon, and just to see what was going on. And I saw these tour buses, and I really didn't know. And I had a feeling it was the bands. I have no idea how the tour was going on. I think I was 12, maybe. I don't know. No, I was in high school at that time. No, I wasn't.
Lie number 2. There's your second lie.
There you go, line. Okay, that's 2 lies. But I wanted to meet Angus Young, and I asked someone. He goes, "Can I meet Angus Young?" And this guy goes, "Beat it. You know, no, you can't." So, but that led me to go across the street to the Springfield Public Library to wait, basically loiter around. And I saw that there was a station, a section of the library where you could take records out. There were headphones, and you could get them turntables, and I just started hanging out there. And I'm gonna take a record out. I'm gonna start doing that after the show when it opens tomorrow.
People are listening right now thinking this doesn't seem real. Like, you could go take out a record, sit there, mind blowing.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
But what a great way to discover new music and bands and not spend all your pocket money that you've done on your paper round. Like, this is a good chance to kind of explore the world of music.
I did. I did not look for records that were available, and they were very, very off the beaten path. Anyways, being a public library, they're not gonna. Maybe I didn't search for it, but I was looking at jazz, avant-garde, classical music, and all that stuff. That's what I was. That's what I used the library for.
Is there any point in your kind of mind at this point that you're thinking, I want to go at this, I want to try, I want to pick up a guitar?
What you did, when you went to see Green Day, you saw another aspect of what music is like besides being in a. Oh, let me turn this air conditioning. I'm in a hotel here.
No worries.
I'll suffer the heat for you.
Your camera's really posh. It followed you then as you got up and moved along.
Yeah, it has this thing. Sometimes I wish you wouldn't follow me around.
It's like Big Brother.
Yeah. Geez, I just read that. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, we're going on to the live music, and I saw them play, and yeah, it just
was that enough for you? Was that enough for you to go home that night with that feeling of your hairs on your neck sticking up, your rib cage kind of shaking from the bass? Were you like, sign me up, I want this?
Yeah, my ears were ringing, and I loved it. What is this feeling? You know, it's like, and I love that the just the feel of it, feeling the bass and all that stuff. And I guess I had a moment where I want to do it. I want to take the I play guitar more. No plans, no, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be this rock star moment thing. I just want to like play the music, play more of it. I got all the AC/DC imports, everything, all the records they had.
That's the best lesson you can ever have, really, isn't it? Forget going to music college or learning how to structure music. Just learn from the absolute pioneers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So did people take you seriously? Were you turning around to your parents at that point saying, look, I want to be in a band, I want to go out there and make a living out of this? Or were they very, look, son, you need to get a real job, this is a dream, this isn't going to happen? Or were they supporting you to the moon and back?
No, I was the latter.
Yeah?
Yeah. I actually had to fib. Yeah, there's no lie.
There you go, number 3.
This is a true lie, a very true lie, an honest lie, which was Charles had dropped out or withdrew.
Yeah.
That's a very, very I had to make that distinction with my parents. I'm taking the semester off. I'm withdrawing to do an internship with the stock brokerage company. I think they went out of business, and they did.
Yeah.
We won't have to name them, but it's in Boston, and the person that hooked me up with that shitty job was this guy that I used to cut the lawn for, and I knew he worked for the a finance place. Shearson's Lehman Brothers. Okay, we'll just say that. But anyways, he got me a job there, and my dad was all proud of me. He got me a suit, and I started feeling really bad about it. And you don't have to buy me a suit because I'm going to quit this fucking. I probably won't like the job.
You can swear all you like, but yeah.
I lasted about a month. I couldn't do it. It just melted my brain. I was cold calling.
Oh God, soul destroying.
It was. Oh, dude. Yeah.
The worst.
They and I had these two snarky brokers, and yeah, they just did this punky shit to me. You know, they thought they were so like funny. You know, like, okay, you got. I've had it with them one day. They asked me to get them sandwiches, which I'm not supposed to do. So, you know, I did. I went, and I never came back.
I love that.
It wasn't intentional. I just stood in line, and I said, I can't handle this anymore.
Fuck this, yeah.
Fuck this. I'm going. I took the red line back to my apartment, and it's just, you know.
I wonder if they're sat there now still waiting for those sandwiches, starving, thinking, he surely should be coming back soon. We gave him the money for it. Where is he?
Well, I don't know. You know, maybe. Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. And I was like reveling in the fact that they didn't get their fucking sandwich, you know.
So you're forming a band. You've got great musicians around you. I suppose at that point you have no expectations. This is the late 80s. You're probably thinking to yourself, let's just have fun. Let's just write some songs. Surely you weren't sitting there thinking, we want to be one of the biggest bands on the planet.
Oh, no. We right when I dropped out, it was going to have to happen.
Yep.
There was no way about it. It was it wasn't like, oh, let's just give this a shot. No. We're gonna we have to do this. You know. Well, you know, but it's up to Charles too, you know. Obviously it's up to him. But well, you know, we both did it. I gotta give myself a little credit.
Of course.
You know? Yeah, so I so that year was just and within a year we did it. We were in Europe, you know. We signed a deal all within 1 year. And that was the job.
Didn't you was it literally a year in and you'd signed with 4AD?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Like English independent label after a year, and you've already got that kind of deal to fall back on and know that you're safe and you've got people that care about you. Yeah,
within a year we had to deal with 4AD and a few rejection letters.
You should frame them.
I know. We had when we hung it up, because it was a cool one from New Rose the label New Rose. I think it's something Rose, New Rose, wherever Captain Beefheart was, what his label was. It was in Paris. So we got the rejection letter from like Paris. Cool. Look at this.
Were you nervous? Were you thinking, wow, we've signed a record deal, we've really kind of got to prove ourselves now because we don't want to screw this up? I mean, it's a lot of pressure at a young age, and the world is, so demanding on musicians.
Well, they took the demo that we made. So we made like a 2018 or 21 label, and they condensed it into the first EP, Come On Pilgrim.
Yeah.
So, nah. Was I nervous about people liking it or anything?
I'm just wondering if inside your chest you're thinking, God, there's pressure here because, you've got Come On Pilgrim, that's out there, there's these songs done, you want to try and make a statement, don't you? You want to say, we're the Pixies, come on, take us seriously. The pressure to follow that up and stuff, I couldn't even get my mind in kind of gear to how you'd be thinking, like, God, like, we really want to absolutely kill it right now.
No, we had this confidence. I had this confidence where I really couldn't care less if people liked it because I knew it was good.
That's an awesome way to think.
Yeah, and even so, even like I had such a snotty attitude, and it's like, I hope you don't fucking like this. And some people, you don't deserve to like this.
No.
It was such as a bratty attitude, but that's what it is,
But at that time you are young, aren't you? You're kind of thinking to yourself, bring it on, and to kind of not care might be the right attitude, because I think otherwise the weight and pressure of trying to follow it up, and then you obviously had Surfer Rosa and Doolittle, like, I can't imagine a band that's had a better kind of 2 or 3 album run after that initial release. It must be insane, the kind of pressures to think, well, we're going to come back and bring out even better music for you all.
Yeah, it was probably that attitude. It was probably that attitude I had was, I grew up in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Where AC/DC was, punk per se. It was like, it was the Who, Rolling Stone, then AC/DC came along, and some people didn't like it, and I was like, you idiot, why? Why don't you like this? I mean, what's not to like? Maybe you're not playing it loud enough. I don't fucking know, but there you go. That's not everyone has to like your music.
And I don't want to make any podcast negative, but I am always intrigued when bands go on hiatuses or break up and come back together. Did you ever lose faith and think this is it? Like, we're not going to play again. This is the final moment. Or was it just always just thinking to yourself, there's a positive in this. Like, when the time's right, we will get this back together and we'll make sure that we don't throw this away.
You mean during our breakup?
Yeah, of course. Like, you've obviously had times out and you've left and come back and recovered the band. And I just thought to myself, was there moments that you just thought, this is it, like the white towel's been thrown in? Or were you always holding on to hope because you were so gifted and such a great band that it was always going to kind of reignite when the time's right?
No, it was, I would have those thoughts when people, there would be this rumor that we would go back. There's always like, it happened every 2-3 years. He goes, you guys gonna go back? No, we're not. And I didn't have that. I couldn't have that luxury of, it's not even a luxury. I can't even, it's not a good thought to have to expect anything. So I had to just shut it off. I go, okay, I got to do something on my own. I can't count on this. So, I mean, I was doing something on my own, but it's just like, I didn't want that. It's just a thought that I can't afford to have in my brain.
That's fair. And I think not every listener out there will know that you then went off and composed for several films, lots of TV work, and people won't realise that. You even scored for, was it the TV show Weeds, wasn't it? I remember seeing your name in the
Weeds,
credits.
and Undeclared was my first TV show.
Yeah.
So it was, it's work doing TV, and it's literally you're handing in your music, and then that night it airs.
Would you do you ever, and tell me if I'm wrong, but is there still stuff inside you that wants to carry on doing that? Are you still getting ideas? And
I do because I have a new appreciation for the process.
Yeah.
It's the process that's in my brain that I know what to do now because I was doing it all wrong,
It's incredible, and I think now you know the process, and obviously using software like, was it Pro Tools, or were you a Cubase guy, or?
I was using Digital Performer. I did.
Right, nice.
I did Cubase too.
Yeah.
But now I'm on. Then I did Pro Tools. Now I'm on to Logic.
Yeah, I did a degree and I did music technology, and I learned Pro Tools 20 years ago. Learned it literally so I could master it, and now I'm like, Logic is just everything I've wished it could have been, and I'm like, why did my brain spend so long?
The other Pro Tools was so predominant.
Yeah.
And, it was like the elite, and it still kind of is. And then, but Logic's great. But when I was on Digital Performer, someone came over. Oh, you're on Pro Tools. Like, hey, come on, it works.
So obviously we were talking, you were saying that you had this confidence, which is great, and desire for the Pixies had to do it because you had all your eggs in one basket. But surely, and tell me if I'm wrong, but surely when you blew up the way you did and became one of the biggest bands in the world, and people compared you with the likes of Pearl Jam, Nirvana, all these absolutely unbelievable bands, the success of Doolittle and Surfer Rose and stuff, surely you must have pinched yourself at some moments and thought, fuck, like, this is huge.
I wish I did, but it wasn't the case because we were in the middle of it. We were touring.
Yeah.
We were doing all this stuff. We were like, I was just taking everything day to day,
So did you never get that opportunity just to take a step back and just kind of digest what was happening and go, fuck, like, look how many people are at our gigs. Like, look at these festivals, our name's at the top of the poster and everyone's wearing our T-shirts and everyone's singing back to us. Like, it must have been impossible to not see that you are becoming one of the biggest bands on the planet.
I don't think none of us saw it, otherwise we would have broken up.
Yeah.
Well, once again, that wasn't up to me, but yeah.
Do you feel happy now in the way that the world is? Do you feel happy that the Pixies are still absolutely adored? You get into tour, play new music, have a great, great stage show, and just enjoy your life?
Now, yeah, that's why this just has lasted longer than the previous, because we do appreciate what we have. When I see these, when I do see like old videos of us, I think that's when I look at it, YouTube. It's like, wow, we were so fucking lucky. Look at that, and this, but
I talk to my good friends, right? And I've been 25 years in the scene since uni, and I don't think anyone that was on our music tech course, anyone that plays guitar, has never not said they've been influenced by you and the Pixies. Like, everyone talks about Kurt Cobain, everyone talks about Eddie Vedder, but people talk to me a lot about Chris Cornell and the Pixies, and especially your guitar and your tone and everything. Mm-hmm. Is that quite hard to get your head around, that you influence so many people to start bands and not just go with the norm and just do what you want and write the songs you want and play the guitar how you should?
I wish I don't.
Dude, you need to hold a big mirror up and think, fuck me, I've done good.
Maybe I need therapy, but
this is it. I'm charging you at the end of this. This is £100.
What am I gonna do? Yes, I can get. I suppose I'm blown away by the. I lied again. I'm not blown away by it. You know why? Because I got influenced by other people.
Yeah.
So I just pass it on. So that doesn't make me feel like a fraud. Sometimes when I play up on stage, I feel like, I get that imposter syndrome,
Even after all these years, when you do it
Yeah.
as a seasoned pro.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Like 3 gigs ago, I even confessed to Charles. I go, I felt like a fucking fraud tonight.
Wow.
And in so many words, people are going to find out. People are going to find out
because after all this time, like, oh, by the way, they're not as good as they said.
Because my heroes were, Angus Young, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh yeah, the big.
And it's like, how can I? I'm not even that good. I'm not as good technically as them. But what they taught me was to be different.
Maybe that keeps you really hungry and humble at the same time.
Yeah. What that taught me was like really just to be different.
Yeah.
When I listened to music, it was more or less like, okay, they've done that, can't do that. They've done that, can't do that. I just painted myself in a corner, and that corner was like just be simple.
So do you think you have a better work-life balance now? Obviously, having 2 children, living in LA, having a life where you probably don't have to tour excessively because the demand isn't so high. Do you think you've got a nice balance where you can enjoy life, be a father and a role model, but at the same time have fun and do the band if and when you need?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yes, but I get that itchy feeling when I'm on the road.
Yeah.
It's weird because give me enough time on the road, I'm gonna wish I was home. Oh man, I can't wait to go home and just look at my goofy cat doing goofy stuff. Yeah, and then I'm home. I'm looking at the goofy cat doing goofy stuff. I'm thinking like, I want to go back on the road. It's a hell of
just
a
take the cat on the road.
Yeah, can't do that. But it's so, yeah. It's not easy up here, Mark.
No, I understand, and many of us are overthinkers, and I think sometimes I overthink overthinking. So trust me, you're not saying anything new to me, dude.
Yeah. I just have turned off my notifications here.
It's someone saying you've got to tell another 14 lies in 10 minutes.
No, they told me. I got a text that goes, "Hey, this other guitar player got influenced by you." So
there you go.
Yeah, I get those texts.
So was it Jimi Hendrix for you and people like George Harrison that you were like inspired?
George Harrison in particular, yeah.
He's the best Beatle, by the way.
I just liked his stuff, and then lo and behold, when I'm playing the stuff, I go, oh, he's practically doing what I did by accident, which is just revoice chords. That's bound not to get in the way and also form some kind of melody.
Something you said today that kind of made me think is you just literally said that you had this imposter syndrome even only 3 shows ago, after all these years in the band. So, cards on the table, do you still get really nervous about shows?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. Especially these ones, the Bossa Nova and Trompe Le Monde.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm concerned about doing it like, pretty much note for note. But to do that too is like to get the tones just right. I had it in Europe pretty much, but it's like it's the getting the tonal aspect of it too. So I'm concentrating on that too as well. So at one point or another, just play the fucking notes. No one's gonna care about your tones. really.
But you care, and that's important. I suppose the fans
I
want it
do.
to sound like the albums they bought at those times, which has a certain genre and era, so it can't sound too polished if it's stuff from the 80s, where the guitar tone wasn't as polished as it would sound now. So I think that's important, and I think you probably care too much about it, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah. You know, someone said that if you're not getting nervous or something, or rather, it's time to hang it up.
Yeah.
You know.
And hopefully that's not anytime soon, Joey.
No, I still get nervous. Yeah.
I've had a lot of bands on here that have been going for a long time, bands like Incubus, Deftones, and I wondered what it is inside that keeps you excited. I know, forget the nerves, forget the adrenaline, but getting up on stage and playing Where Is My Mind for probably the 10,000th time, how do you get yourself in that mindset to still be excited and still want to play these songs? When I've been to see some gigs and, you know, I love the bands, but you can just tell they're just going through the motions. They're just playing the songs like a robot because they need to. But I've seen you guys many times and you always play it like you absolutely still fucking love those songs.
Yeah, you know, because it feels like it's a little weapon in our pocket, you know, and they want to hear it.
Yeah.
And you could tell they want to hear it. So, you know, when we finally play it and the eruption happens, yeah, that never really gets old, you know.
Isn't that magical? After all these years, you still get those fans literally like blowing up and getting so excited about those certain songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when you know, it gives us a moment to like play some of our, you know, play our new stuff. Because okay, maybe they're gonna like it, maybe they're not, but the people that really get into it are like the new fans or the younger fans. They know the words to the new album, The Night Zombies came out.
Yeah.
Well, we're playing that, indulging ourselves because we want to. It's getting better. It goes, oh, here it is. It is good, you know, and it's grown up playing a little bit for me anyway. And then see for me, and I'm thinking about these other people hating it. It's like, he's still 10, he's still 101. You know what I mean? But he goes, okay, we could indulge here, but we know we have to base her. We know they're gonna get Monkey. They know,
yeah,
we know they're gonna get Where's My Mind after this little quote unquote break. Because I know what the audience is like. You know, you said it yourself. You know, you want to hear that. You know.
But it's nice that you can stimulate yourself and the rest of the band by playing new music, having those kind of new ideas and seeing how the crowd react, because you can't always just rely on a 20-song set list of just hits. You surely, for your mentality, want to play new music together.
Yeah. You know, there was a podcast. It wasn't, was it yours? No, it was maybe Jerry said it, Jerry Cottrell, but said that he was too young for it. Or someone said it anyways. It might not have been him, but they went to a Led Zeppelin concert, right? And it goes, we're going to play a new song, you know, something from, Led Zeppelin 4 had just come out. And they and the audience just went, oh man, you know, and a lot of them, you know, it was like beer time, you know,
yeah,
beer bladder.
Toilet break, yeah,
beer bladder day, you know, and that song was "Stairway to Heaven."
That's insane.
You know what I mean? What if they were in the bathroom because we don't want to hear this fucking Misty Mountain Hop, you know? It's like, hey, you got. It just happens, you know. Some people, you know, it's funny hearing those stories, you know.
Is there anything you feel like there's left to do? That doesn't just have to be with the Pixies, but certain film soundtracks or scores or a book or something inside you that you feel that still there's a tick to try and do on this tick list? I mean, you've been in one of the biggest bands in the world, which is unbelievable. You've got to score for great films and stuff, but is there still stuff that you're like, I want to do that before I die. Like, those are the things I want
I have that existential moment. I'm having it now. It's ever since I reached the big 6-0.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, it was like, can I still do that? I have these thoughts. I'm going to do this. Yeah, sure. It's easy when you're fucking 35, 40.
Yeah.
And goes, I don't want to do this. No, dude, you're fucking 60. But no, it's not true. And I got to get in that frame of mind. Even like making the new record. I want to get back in that frame of mind where, towing the line before who gives a fuck if they like it, but we got to still fit in the club.
Yeah.
We were aware that because we were so much into the clubs, we knew what the club scene was like in Boston. It's like, okay, we got to it also has to be in that genre where we could play, in these clubs.
Yeah.
Like you hand me your demo and goes, hey, listen to this. This is they're like the first record label that's accepting you. Some of them will dump it in their drawer. That happened to me when we all went around clubs, we're handing out our demos. I went to one, it was just the wrong club anyways, but I tried it. It was one of those places that never really have music. I gave it to the guy and I heard it slam, down into a drawer. It's like,
can I have it back? Yeah, that costs money.
Hey, let me get that back. That shit. It was the purple tape I was handing out.
I want one of them now. If that exists anywhere, my God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dude, what I want to say is, you may have heard this if you listened to the interview, is every guest that comes on Mark and Me gets to choose the final piece of music that's played at the very end. So after I've edited this whole interview, I'll put it out there on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and everything. Obviously, during the interview, there'll be snippets of the Pixies, but I wondered what song you would like to end the podcast with today. So it'll play after the interview's all edited. And
sure.
The reason I ask it is there's going to be one song that probably comes to your heart and soul before any other. And I'm always intrigued what that first song is, especially with yourself, who's probably got a million songs in your head right now.
No, we were just talking about the existential moment.
Yeah.
Of our dawning.
Yep.
We're all gonna die, guys. We're all gonna die. No,
that's the reality. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your death. But yeah,
that's not a downer. That's just the fucking truth. So yes. Anyway, I love this song. Love the way they squash the drums, and it's just erupting. Sounds like the wave. It's. I would say the drums are the ones that carry the emotional impact of the lyrics. Just the production of it. It's a beautiful song by Eric Burden and the Animals. It's called Poem by the Sea.
I've never heard this, dude.
I know, me too, but when I heard it, it's like, oh my God, the lyrics are perfectly simple, easy to remember, and his vocal, I mean, the drums are for me, the star of this, and it is. You'll hear it, and you guys are going to get blown away, and that's no lie. That's no lie.
No, dude, this happens a lot on the podcast. Some people say massive songs, Rolling Stones or the Beatles, and you're like, oh, great, I can see why that means a lot. And people say they got married to it, or it's a song they want at their funeral. But when you bring something new to the kind of podcast, and then I go and, listen to this track to put it in, I end up usually going on a bit of a path and being like, oh, I want to hear more. And then I've discovered someone new. And if you can do that for me on this podcast, I'm in awe all the time because it sounds good, man, already.
Yeah, listen to that. And then, as an added bonus, can I add a bonus?
Of course.
Canned Heat, Poor Mood.
Yeah.
Another thing where you just think about this should good end. It's a good thought. right?
Of course, it's real.
Say that when you embrace the angel of death, you'll become freer. That's what I want to do. I think that's what we should all be doing. Embrace the truth.
Don't hide from it.
Can't hide from it. I mean, there's no more truth than that. So if you're running away from the truth, embrace the angel of death. Sound like Satan here.
You've got quite a busy schedule. I was thinking, I wonder how much they've got left of the year, and I was looking at your tour page online, and I was thinking, okay, they're not slowing down anytime soon. There's a lot of gigs still for you guys.
Dude, we already have 2026 kind of outlined.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I missed it when you came to Birmingham a few weeks ago. I was literally double booked and I wanted to come and see you. So I'm hoping not too long until you come back.
To Birmingham, that was like our first time there forever.
I know.
Since
I
forever.
had to bloody miss it.
Yeah. The home of fucking, Black Sabbath.
Ozzy, yeah. We've got a huge celebration for him in a couple of weeks.
Who, Iomi or...
It's Ozzy Osbourne's, they say, and Black Sabbath's last ever show at Aston Villa. So there's support by Guns N' Roses, Tool, Metallica, Alice in Chains. It's mental.
Yeah, I think out of anyone in that band, Black Sabbath, you'd have to give it up for Tony Iommi because he gave up his finger.
Yeah, and truly one of the greatest ever. Like when I listen to his tones and what he does. Mind-blowing.
Yeah, that guy, yeah, he's awesome.
I couldn't get a ticket. They sold out in seconds. It was one of these crazy gigs where they don't even have press or guest list or anything. It's just all for charity. But if Ozzy can get up there and sing a song, then that'll blow my mind.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll get lucky and get a ticket. You never know.
We'll see. See what happens in the world. But what I do want to say, Joey, is I really appreciate you coming on. I've listened to you since my college days, and truly, I get to choose who comes on the podcast. I listen to lots of music, but the Pixies, as I asked you about those albums that changed your life, I remember listening to you guys at a very young age and thinking, this is going to change my life, and it did. It led me to Sonic Youth and to listen to other bands that then didn't always play it safe, and the best thing about music for me and what inspires me is the way that bands can evolve and they never just copy and paste the same album. Yes, if you're successful for that and you're millionaires and you can live happy off the same album being regenerated, great. But you showed me that you could evolve and change and become a different album and a different band throughout the albums. And the journey you've taken me on is unbelievable. So I'm very grateful for you coming on the podcast today.
Oh yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, this is great. Great. I had a good time.
That's really important, good. And I hope the rest of the tour goes really well. Don't leave it too late to come back. I know I've missed it. That's my own error. But if you can come back to the UK anytime soon, I will be there. I'll buy you a drink, and we'll sit down, and you can lie to me even more.
Well, if you want to go to the show anywhere in the world, just get in touch. You'll have the green light.
So there it is. There's my interview with me and Joey Santiago. What a great interview. Really open, really honest. And it isn't always about kind of glorifying the industry and being a rock star and saying just how great life is. He was being really, truly open and honest. And I really respect that and appreciate it. And thought Joey made a great guest on Mark and Me. If you've enjoyed today's episode, guys, as always, please share it. It costs nothing to do. It's literally a click of a couple of buttons. You can do this on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and I make it really easy because all you have to do is go on markandme.com and all the links are on there. I see more people doing it each and every episode, and it really does go a massive way to spreading the love, spreading the word of Mark and Me, and getting more people to jump on board. Also, before I go, let's give a shout out to the two sponsors of Mark and Me. Firstly, Richer Sounds. If you love the Pixies and want to listen to them on the best headphones or hi-fi or speakers or a Blu-ray of their concert, go to richersounds.com because they won't be beaten on price, or visit any of their high street stores. And Vice Press. These guys give the best art, posters, prints, collectibles, all on vicepress.com. And anything you add to your basket, all you have to do is simply add the discount code MarkandMe10 and you'll get 10% off your first order. Right, I'm going to go now because I've got more episodes to edit. It's absolutely insane at the moment, but I really hope you've all enjoyed today's interview with the Pixies. Until next time, everyone, go and listen to the Pixies, look after yourself, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
I took a walk down by the sea, and I listened to her strength, and I saw how tall I was, realized how small I was, and I wondered why the world should care for me. Into the swirling sky, saw the clouds go rushing by, realized how slow I was, and I saw how low I was, and I wondered why the sun should shine for me.